Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
And now that I live in a building with other people, I've unfortunately realized that even when your prefrontal cortex is fully developed, people still don't have common sense.
Right, yeah.
And sometimes that's the building's fault.
Sure.
Sometimes they're very sensitive fire alarms.
Yeah.
But also, some people don't understand that range hoods have fans.
Right.
And I would love to live in a place where I don't need to constantly be afraid of oh, it's 9 p.m. I'm going to get ready for bed. I've slugged. I'm ready to chill. Do I need to worry that Craig downstairs is going to set off the fire alarm?
Right.
That would be to go down several flights of stairs.
Yeah.
You know?
And just a good ease of anxiety on that regard would be nice.
Absolutely. I think that is, if I could get to that point in my life, that is where I would like to be.
Yeah, I believe in you. I think that's possible.
But apparently that means that I need to get into fucking stonks.
Right.
And make millions of dollars.
Yeah. Gotta be a GameStop stonk person now. God.
Yeah. You know, but someday that's my dream.
Yeah.
So, anyways, welcome to Into the Twilight.
Hey.
Where we wish that we were Richie Rich, you know?
Yeah, and try not to talk too much about stonks, but it happens. And you know what?
Yeah.
We're here.
Mainly because I don't understand math.
Sure, right. That's crucial. Yeah.
So that is a critical component for it. And also, it's not funny content.
No.
That's also a primary component.
The funniest thing about stonks is stonks, the word, which isn't even really what it's called. So there's no more humor to be had there.
Yeah, it's really just a visual meme, and unfortunately, we have yet to realize over the past 5 years that visual memes don't translate that well in an audio medium.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah. Now, if I am coming across a little bit like I am trying to sell you a trade show today, if I'm sounding a little bit QVC,
sure.
That is not intentional. You know, it might be, but it's not. I am unfortunately realizing that it does sound like I have taken an edible. No, I am just trying my best to have a normal voice level today, because I have unfortunately fucked up my throat, and you know, like a true singer, like a true artiste.
Right.
I am breaking my vocal rest today. So, does that mean that I can get through this episode without screeching? Who's to say?
Who knows?
Tune
in to find out. Keep listening.
Is this my true gift to future editing Cody? Maybe. You know?
Yeah.
How are you, by the way?
I am doing pretty good. I think we've been saying this for the past few weeks, but really the Christmas creep is here.
It's like days away for us.
It's days away for us. If you are listening to this, Christmas is over. I'm sorry. But I hope it was fine. Hope any holiday you celebrated was good. But my happy thing this week is I want to give a shout out to matching pajama sets.
I am so excited about this. Please go on.
So my partner and I have been wanting to have matching pajamas because we're cute, whatever.
Yeah.
We're very adorable. It's fine. And we've always been thinking about it. We're like, let's do it. It's Christmas. Let's get some nice shit. And I personally have never like ever had like fancy, nice matching pajamas.
They're so expensive.
They're so expensive, first of all. Like I think I had maybe one as like a kid, possibly, but I never really wore it too often. So it's not really part of my experience as a sleep person, someone who sleeps. Okay. But I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. And shout out friend of the pod, Rachel Whitehurst, who literally tweeted about a set. I'm not going to say the brand name because they're not paying us. So it's not an ad, and I'm not going to give them free clout.
But they are very cute.
But they're very cute. We didn't get those exact ones. We got them in a different style. But I was like, fuck it, let's do it. They look very soft. They look very cool. Mm-hmm. And they fucking are. And I've just been living in these pajamas. They have pockets. They're warm, but also like breathable. So it's not like full like flannel vibes, you know?
And that's the thing. It's so hard to find good like not just good quality, but ones that you feel like you can vibe in.
Right. Exactly. That's crucial.
I completely agree. So that is good feedback to hear for next year. Right.
So highly recommend getting yourself, and it's just cute as fuck to wear two things that match each other, you know?
100%.
It's just like, you don't have to think about what you're wearing. You look great. You're wearing one thing all the way down, baby. It's great.
100%. And I think that's why, like, I wish that when I was younger, I hadn't made fun of cartoon characters for wearing the same thing every day.
Sure, because that's me. That's my life now.
That is what I am going for when I shop for clothes now. Is
totally.
Like, what is something where I can essentially wear the same thing every day.
Right.
And not have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I do when I approach pajamas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's...
Fuck yeah. I love that.
Thank you. It's a great journey for me. I'm very excited to just blow all of my money on pajamas now for the rest of my life. I think that's a good investment for me specifically.
I mean, if we're going to have to be home, you might as fucking well. Right?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. How are you, my friend?
Well, I could be better.
Sure.
But that's of my own making, I think. Because what I have found out is I'm like about 95% sure I have laryngitis. Yep. And this is, again, from my own making because I can't shut my gob.
Right.
And so I have this from talking too much, which is just, it's so on brand, but that's okay.
Yeah.
One thing I found out this year, so I'm 27 years old when I found this out.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that the 12 days of Christmas was the 12 days leading up to Christmas. Yeah. Some motherfucker said on Twitter, and I'm going to take this as fucking gospel because it makes sense to me.
That's the truth. It's on Twitter. It's the truth. That's what happened.
Right. And I'm not going to fact check it because everything that's said on Twitter is true.
Yeah.
That the 12 days of Christmas is actually the days between Christmas and New Year's. And that's fucking wild.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't like it. We should have workshopped that a little bit more in the think tank, perhaps.
Because the song,
right.
Hello, that changes everything. Anyways, so that's where my mind is right now.
That's my hyperfixation of the week.
That's just where my brain is at. But my happy thing this week is also holiday related, and I am bringing something that has not just been a happy thing for me this year, but also for the past fucking 25 years, is something that I have had in my stocking for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that this is something that is still being made, first of all.
Yeah.
And it is the Lifesaver Gummies Christmas book.
Okay.
So, saying that this is a book is very generous.
Right.
It is essentially a cardboard-shaped box that is shaped like a book.
Sure.
And when you open it, the inside flap has, like, games. It's like, like a traceable puzzle or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
What I care about is when you open the box, there are 2 different packs of Lifesaver gummies. One are the original. The other are the berry flavored. Now, any time of the year outside of Christmas, if you offered me 1 Lifesavers or 2 Lifesaver gummies, I would spit in your face.
Yeah.
Because they're trash.
But, yeah.
During Christmas, specifically when I have my stocking, when I see these, I get so hyped for them. Yeah. And I don't know why. I think it's just tradition. Like, it's just like, oh, hell yeah. These are here. They are available, and they are specifically gummy, which is the best. Lifesavers are not good.
Yeah.
But
let's be honest with ourselves.
Let's just be honest. That's fine. One of my favorite things about them as a kid, and still to this day, is the fact that with Lifesaver gummies, you can, like, stretch them and you can pull them apart. So they're a toy and they taste fine.
Right.
But there's something very nostalgic that whenever I see these, they make me happy.
Yeah, there is something very charming about these. Just looking at them, it's very great. Like, I love a little interactive thing, like for candy or whatever. It's like, let's just make an experience out of it. Like, everyone loves advent calendars. Everyone loves, like, the fun little surprise or whatever. And just, like, opening up a thing in a new way. It's like, ooh, very fun.
It is something that is, like, so simple.
Yeah.
That makes me very happy to see. And I don't know that I ever expressed as a child that I was like, I like Lifesavers. I think it was just kind of forced upon me.
Right. Yeah.
And now I eat them out of tradition. But it does make me happy to see it. So I appreciate it nonetheless.
Absolutely.
I am very excited to share our current events, even though they are not necessarily good news.
Right.
Don't
come bearing gifts this week.
No. The first piece of news this week was something that I found out via friend of the pod, Wolfgang.
Thank you, Wolfgang.
Would you like to share this piece of news with us?
Absolutely.
Play the sad music.
Right. My heart will go on, plays in the background.
Yeah.
We get sued immediately.
If we got sued by Celine, I would literally
welcome it. I would frame that cease and desist immediately. Are you kidding me? God.
I would frame it too.
Holy shit, yeah.
If
I would
she
put
knew
that on
who
t-shirts. That'd be our new merch. We just make merch out of that.
Oh my god, if she knew who we were. Oh.
Yeah, what a treat.
Yeah, we made it.
I have a heavy heart relaying this news. And it's that the Twilight movies are leaving Netflix in January.
We just got these back.
Literally in July. It's been 6 months.
6 months.
It's been 6 months that we've had the sweet, sweet embrace, the sweet comfort, which also speaks to the things we've been talking about forever throughout this whole thing, is that they flip-flop platforms all the fucking time. So I'm sure Lionsgate has, like, a wild contract that they go through each time and have very weird demands, I'm sure, of, like, what they expect and how much they want from it. Because realistically, like, why does this keep switching so many places when they have such a, like, devout, audience and staple?
Completely agree. I definitely think that it's one because of the drama of it all.
Yes, love the drama. I live for the drama.
And also, it's because of the fact that Lionsgate doesn't have its own streaming service, and so it's like who's going to pay the most?
Right, exactly. It's like, who wants me?
And I think that comes at a detriment, especially because of the fact that, like, when Netflix had all of them this summer, it caused so much, like, everyone was talking about it.
It was a huge deal. Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's just, like, a terrible business model for Lionsgate If they just
100%.
literally made their own shitty little app, only put the Twilight movies on it, charged however much they want to, and say, this is the only place you can watch them streaming, and that's it, the amount of money they would make could totally outweigh, perhaps, I don't know the lengths of these deals, I don't know how much fucking guap they're getting from Netflix, from Hulu, from Amazon, whatever, but like, if they were just like, fuck it, we're the number one pig now, and it's just gonna be a Twilight literally exclusive situation, right. The amount of herds you can get and the amount of like easy clap, like get in there and subscriptions would be immense, I can imagine.
I just imagine that they've got to be in negotiations with some sort of streaming service, because Lionsgate owns so many big series. Yeah. They own so many of them that if they even just made a contract with one of them and was like, okay, we're putting all of our projects on here. Yeah. Because I think the idea of having one more streaming service right now just makes me want to. No, it's terrible. It's terrible for the culture, but I feel like would make them a fuck ton of money. Of course. They would make a lot of money. It's one of those things that, like, pisses me off of, like, just decide. Because the idea of not having a consistent place, I think, is bad for bad for them. Right. Too. And just, can you imagine all of the different, like, random ass checks that Kristen's accountant gets of, like, from Hulu, from Netflix, like, it's got to have been on almost all of the streaming services at this point. Yeah, at this point, probably every one of them. Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah. That's weird. But thank you for making us aware of that, Wolfgang. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you. This Batman news that you brought to the space is wild. Could you share this with the class? Yes, absolutely. So, we, in typical form, back to our roots, we are recording before a big relevant thing comes out proper to the World Wide Web, which is annoying, but I'm comfortable here. I've been here. I've lived in this space before. I'm not going to let it get to me. It's okay. At least we're not being caught off guard this time. Exactly. We know it's coming, so we did prepare. So, checkmate, Empire Magazine. All right? And the thing is, we haven't had a lot of Batman news in quite a while. No, it's been quiet for a while. We've been on the case to beat for a hot minute. We've been, dabbling with all the other properties, because we really haven't heard a peep about the Batman, since it wrapped, basically. And then they had that Lego set or whatever. Not much since. Not a fucking Dula Peep. Yeah. Not a little Dula Peep. Not a Dula Peep in sight. And then they're like, hey, so Empire Magazine is going to have a full multi-cover issue fully with a huge exclusive deep dive into the Batman, everything you've ever wanted, interview with Rob, interview with Matt Reeves, interview with everyone involved. We got all these new sexy photos, and here, have at it. Here's some slop, you pigs, go get it, kind of vibe. So, like, I get it. I get the flex of being like, hey, you've been dormant for a little bit, but here's some fresh content. We made it for you. Please take it. In a big way. So we have a couple things. They're all mostly little tidbits because it's not technically out yet, but they have released some previews of some of the quotes and some of the interviews and some of the photos. So we just want you all to know that we didn't forget. We didn't forget. We knew it was coming. They just did us dirty, and that's on them, and not our planning. Also, who drops it on fucking what is that? On Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Eve. Like, rude, cruel, and unusual. Come on, we have things to do, man. Come on. Like, stop it. Yeah. So we get a lot of sick pictures. This cover, Rob looks very constipated in, but I do love it. It is very funny. These eyes, hello. These eyes, they're staring into my soul. It is here. I'm very curious why they decided to do five covers, right? 5 covers. I think there's two of Rob, I think, perhaps. Yeah. 2 covers for Empire and not Entertainment Weekly. Yeah, like, that is interesting. When I think of not just like a multiple cover situation, but when I think of like superheroes, I automatically think of like EW.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's like Empire. Okay.
Yeah.
Go off. But yeah, this is it's a choice.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I think the most pressing news of this that we have been gleaned to here, outside of the photos, which are nice and you can look at them at your own time, is the fact that Matt Reeves was inspired by Kurt Cobain in his crafting of Batman and Robert Pattinson playing him in it. Which, like, hello? Hello.
Okay, so Matt, we need to talk about this.
Right? Matty boy.
Because what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
because it sounds like, based on what Matt says here, that it's just Nirvana's music.
Yes, right.
Right?
Yeah,
But,
very
like,
much the grunge aesthetic.
Yeah, like, are you talking about grunge, Matt? Or are you saying that, like, this is a trans movie?
Right.
Because
You have
I
to
think
be
that,
specific.
because, like, what I know about Kurt Cobain and some of the, like, history about Kurt Cobain is that, like, this is... Hey, Matt, are you aware?
Yeah,
like,
hey, bud.
Of Kurt and, like, the history here? Or are you just saying, like, yeah, like, Robert Pattinson's Batman, like, might have worn, like, plaid and, like, was a sad boy?
Yeah.
Or are you saying that, like, this is a political statement?
Right.
And that
Diversity win. We did it. We got a
Yeah.
trans Batman, and it's Robert Pattinson.
we have a trans Batman.
We did it.
We have a trans billionaire Batman. Because, like,
That's representation, folks. We did it.
That's
That's it. Absolutely. I just love the image in my mind's eye, of Matt Reeves just, like, opening up his laptop, being like, all right, I'm going to write the first act of this Batman movie. I'm going to do it. Let's go. And he puts on Something in the Way by Nirvana. Or, it was, yeah, Something in the Way by Nirvana.
Yeah.
Just to really set the mood from the jump. And I really...
Or was...
That just really
Because-
tickles me in a beautiful way.
Because I'm gonna, like, fucking throw my laptop if it's just that, like, from what we see on these photos here, that it's Robert Pattinson's Batman has, like, a hole in his shirt. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, this is inspired by Nirvana. And it's
Right.
like, I'm going
he has
to...
tattered clothes and his hair is a little messy sometimes. That's grunge, baby. That's Kurt
That's, like-
Cobain, baby.
That's, like, yeah, like, that, like... My Pinterest board had Kurt Cobain on it, and it's like, Matt Reeves, I'm
Hey,
gonna
bud.
punch you.
You suck. I hate you.
Hey, you're the actual worst, and I can see why Robert Pattinson wanted to fucking fight you.
Yeah, in the parking lot.
So I mean, obviously, like, the movie's not out.
Sure. We don't know.
We don't know, but it's not looking good for you, Matt Reeves.
Hey, Matt, turn your location on. We just want to talk. We just want to hang out.
I want to have a fight with Matt Reeves
Yeah.
with my fucking Memoji on.
Emoji.
Yeah, I'm so mad.
Yeah.
I can't even yell right now. So it just
Yeah, you
sounds
can't
like I'm,
even
like,
fully-
gentle parenting Matt Reeves.
Convey your anger, but it's deep. I feel it. I feel it through the sound waves.
And I can't even do, like, that, like, intonation that I do when it's like, Jacob. It's like, no, it sounds like I'm gentle parenting you. And it's like, I really just want to fucking, like, scream my guts out right now.
Yeah.
But I have to take care of my vocal cords.
Yeah.
Anyways, we do have a listener comment, but it fits in with our text.
Fuck yeah.
So we can slot that in when we get there.
Hell yeah.
When we last read Frostbite, we were talking about Adrian/Randall from Monsters Inc.
Yes.
and how he sent too many, I would say, just a gaggle of perfumes.
Right.
To Rose.
Gaggle, I think, is a good word for that.
And he was having a conversation with Rose at the dinner party where Lissa was like, let's just not fight.
Yeah. Can we be good now?
Let's be good. And they were like, yes, queen.
Yeah.
And Rose and Adrian were talking. I think the last thing that we heard was Janine came over.
Yeah.
So where are we picking up at?
Chapter 17 starts and Janine is pissed. Janine is...
For seemingly no reason.
It's not really warranted. There's no real inclination as to why. But she's just like running up at Rose, like grabs her arm, like sloshes her champagne that's in her hand. And she's like, they're just yelling at each other and being very aggressive. Because Rose is like, what the hell is going on? What is happening? Like, I know we don't have a great relationship, but this seems out of character for what we got going on here. What's going on? And she's just like, well, you're making a spectacle of yourself. You're dressing up like a cheap whore in front of like very fancy people and making us look bad and whatever. And, you know, her flirting with Adrian, calling that out and being like, you know what your body looks like. Your most perfect breasts that nobody else has. You have to know what that comes with, like that responsibility.
It's just so much out of nowhere.
Yeah. It feels very aggressive in a way that's not warranted, at least even from Janine's standards.
Yeah. And so, I mean, based on what the context that we get, it seems like she was at the dinner party because she's like dressed up in her guardian stuff. And so the fact that she comes up out of nowhere, embarrasses Rose in front of Adrian and also in front of this like other group that was like nearby and listening, and is like, you look disgusting.
Right.
You look awful. And it's like, okay, thanks, Mom.
Right. Can I continue to party now with people that I want to impress?
Yeah. It's just unfounded. Like, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah. And then we get this fun little comment that totally sends Rose in a tailspin, in which Janine is like, you know, you're acting like a child. You act like a child, which is what Dimitri always tells Rose. And Rose is like, I can't do this right now. My brain, I don't like this. This is not fun for me. Hate it here.
Yeah. It's... I feel really bad for her in this moment. Mm-hmm. I think there's a moment too where she's like, my life is a disaster. Like, I can't. I can't do this. Everything is not coming up Millhouse.
No.
And I can't. I'm not good. Things are not good.
Yeah, not good. And so Rose is like, I'm out. I'm just going to like have a little pity party because I'm emotionally scarred for a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm just going to walk out of this like creepily open door and just go outside where it's covered in snow and I'm only wearing like a party dress kind of vibe.
Yep.
And then our boy,
no jacket, no nothing.
Mr. Man, Dimitri, is like, hey, are you cold? Like, hey, it's probably not safe for you to be out here like this.
Yeah, she's on this like random rooftop deck.
Yeah.
That she just like randomly found.
Right. And it's just like, hey, this doesn't seem safe or good. Are you okay?
Yeah. And there's a part of her, it seems like, that is like excited that he's there, but is also like, hey, I can't do this right now. So.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, again, Dimitri bringing up, trying to like come from a place of like, hey, maybe you should, you know, think about what your mom's going through a little bit more than you do, kind of vibe, which he tends to do. And it's just like, hey, you know, maybe she's kind of like projecting a lot of her own internalized shame that she had, and maybe you should think about that. And Rose is like, I never even fucking considered that my mom is a person. Like, I never even came to, like, she's just like this badass warrior and is very mean to me and like was not part of my life. So like, she's not a person, you know, which is a very easy thing to do. And it's understandable to an extent. But that's like the first real moment where she's like, oh yeah, maybe I'm actually I do remind my mom of her in a way that maybe makes her scared because she kind of fucked her life up in a way that she will never figure it out, you know?
This scene was tough.
Yeah.
Because I think that Dimitri has on several occasions come off as if he's like not defending Janine, but like he has a little bit more perspective. Mm-hmm. So he's like almost kind of like suggesting to Rose of like what if you consider this from a different perspective?
Right.
And before, Rose is like, fuck you, Dimitri.
Right. How dare you?
This isn't helpful. And this is the first time that Rose was like, damn, I literally hadn't thought about it like that, of like the things that she had said maybe weren't meant for me. She just needed to say them. Right. And that doesn't take away the fact that they weren't okay.
Right, and the pain.
It just meant, yeah, it just means that, like, that puts them into a different context. And I think that, like, the fact that there's a moment where I think her jaw, like, literally drops is really interesting because it shows how much... and we've joked before, like, in this book that there really hasn't been that much that's happened. But I think that this book has shown that there's been a lot of internal growth that's happened for Rose.
Yeah, totally.
And, you know, she's still a minor. She's still 17, but I do think that she is having a lot of epiphanies of, like, whoa, the way that I've seen... my mom was as a parent, and now I'm starting to see her as a human. Right. They're not human, but like as an adult.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is really interesting to see a character go through.
Yeah, there's like a lot of... I like how much it invests in her own like internalized realizations, I guess, and epiphanies and stuff. Because like even earlier on in this chapter, she's like, yeah, I don't know why my mom's being so weird about this. Like, I used to be kind of like a party girl and like used to like, you know, hang out with people and like do bad things or whatever. But like, I don't really do that shit to the same level anymore. And like, my priorities have changed. And then this later moment, this very popularly highlighted quote, according to my Kindle, is that she's like also going through her relationships with Mason and with Dimitri and with Adrian and being like, yeah, I don't really know. Like, these are all just like funnels for my unresolved shit. And that's unfair to me and to them. And like, I'm not going to force things that aren't there especially with Mason, you know?
100%.
And it's like, wow, growth. We love to see it. Respect.
Especially because I think that the internal growth that we're seeing with Rose is translating to her external, like her actions as well. Yes,
totally.
Not just like with the relationships she's having with people, which is happening, but like even in the next chapter, like it's influencing the way that she's working as well. And I think that that's something that I am appreciating about this book is like she is the very definition of a round character is like the way that her relationships are changing her is how it's like changing her I guess I can say her career as well. So it's good to see that is working both ways.
Yeah, and even her too being like, you should really take that job with Tasha. Like, I'll be sad about it, but like I think it's for the best for you, and obviously I don't want you to feel like you're compromising any potential job and or romance for me and for whatever this is, you know.
That was so sad.
And it's like, oh, And like she leans her head on his chest and they just sit there. And she's like, all right, I gotta go break someone's heart. Bye. Okay, thank you for the pep talk, Dimitri. And it's like,
It was so... This part hurt so bad.
ugh, it's so brutal.
And yet it was like... It was... It's not weird, but like... It was one of the most intimate moments that they've had.
Right, because previously it's like this like aggression and this like passion that's so overwhelming, especially for a teenager, right? And like all these like secrecy and like very like bursting of emotions and stuff that feel very uncontrollable. But this was like one of the few like just pulled back moments where they just like sat there and were with each other in a way that they just cared about each other and weren't even talking,
and the parts
really.
where she was like noticing how he smelled in his coat, I was like, damn, fuck you, Ferrero.
Right, Ferrero Rocher, come on.
Because it was intimate. And like, yes, they were touchy, but it was like, it wasn't like sexual. It was just them saying goodbye. And it hurt so bad.
Yeah. It's like, oh, God.
So, fuck you, Ferrero.
Yeah, how dare you.
Damn it. How dare
Make
you.
me feel things.
I did not ask for this.
I did not.
Especially because the next chapter is very, like, buddy comedy.
Yeah, this chapter takes a real pivot, for sure. We were in deep, like, emotional soft land. We are back in goofs, hijinks, and potential danger.
Yeah, people hating each other and yet working with each other. Like,
right. I love it. So, excuse me. So, chapter 18. Rose is like, all right, I gotta dump this boy real quick. I can't do this anymore.
I gotta break this kid's heart.
I gotta break this kid's heart. I'm gonna do it. And, like, walks up to his room, like, barefoot. At some point, she's like, these heels suck. I'm just gonna walk barefoot into this lodge.
Mood.
Which, like, girl boss, love it. And opens the door, and Shane is there, who is Mason's roommate. And Mason's not there.
Shane.
We know and love Shane. We love him and definitely can remember at least one thing about him outside of him being Mason's roommate in this current situation. So Shane's there, and she's like, where the fuck is Mason? And he's like, I thought he was with you. Like, I thought he was packing up a bag for a sexy little vacay for you. Which already brings up, like, question marks in Rose's mind of being like, people can't leave this place. That's not
how this works.
That's not how this works. This is heavily guarded because people just died very recently. And also this was already protected before that because people died previously to that. And so everything was on very much of lockdown. So she's like, interesting.
Didn't realize that Mason could just decide that didn't apply to him.
Right, I guess Mason's above the rules. Sure. Whatever. Sure. So she does a little bit of ground investigative reporting here on the ground, being like, hey, have you seen Mason? Hey, have you seen Mason? Does anyone know who Mason is?
I've lost my dog. Have you seen him?
I lost my poor dog. Can you please lead him back to me? He's very scared and very alone. He cannot handle it by himself.
He's carrying a knapsack, weirdly. If you look, I have $5.
You may have saw him just eat shit while skiing that one time. If that strikes a bell for you. Yeah, so just think about that maybe, and then come back to me if you see him. And then someone is like, a door guy, a guardian is like...
Notable door guy.
No, notable door guy. Sorry, a guardian comes up and it's like, yeah, I've seen him, you know. And
I let your dog out the door.
Yeah,
onto the freeway.
He left. And she's like, what? Sorry, what? And he's like, yeah. Like, he was there, and, like, Eddie, who we all know and love and totally remember. And then Mia was there. And then they just left. So, yeah. And she's like, what are you talking about? First of all, why are these people together hanging out? That's weird. Second of all, how did you let them out, and why? And he's like, yeah, they asked me to. So.
Yeah, like, Wayward Bound. We just, like, let them go.
Yeah, they wanted to get let out, so we just let them out. And she's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, they said that the yard was too small.
Right. Yeah, they need to run around.
So
yeah, they
needed more room.
Yeah, they need to pee outside, so they just went and did that. And then Rose is in her mind being like, that's strange on many levels because this is very highly guarded. And the only way really that could work is if someone used compulsion, because the only way we
and
really
did it
got
in a
out
bad way.
in the bad way, because we got out of the academy because of Lyssa's compulsion, which is very good, but even still was a pain in the ass. And here,
Right.
if someone like Mia is flirting with the idea of evil magic and using it for your own sick and twisted deeds,
Right.
could work in that way. And she's like,
Yes.
fuck, because that means if they're gone, and using compulsion, they have
Then I have to
absolutely
break up with this dude and go find him.
right. I have to go find him and then immediately break up with him. But it means where they're going is fucking Spokane.
And like, well, okay, so first of all, this sucks for a couple different reasons, right?
Yes.
Because like Rose told Dimitri's confidential information to Mason.
Yeah, spilled the beans and was the only, and Mason was like the only person she told. So she's like, if these fuckers die, that's on me.
Right. And Dimitri will definitely be mad about that.
Yes.
Because we're already running low on our population.
Yeah.
Second of all, I need to break up with this dude so they can't kill him yet.
Right.
And third of all, they're not supposed to be off the ski resort. So what the fuck? So I love her solution. And it's like, well, I'm obviously not going to tell Dimitri.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Because I just said goodbye to him.
Right, that was
And-
very powerful of me to do that. And I'm not going to go back and be like, hey, wait, one more thing, actually.
Yeah. So my only other option is to go see Christian.
Yeah. Oh, this Christian scene is so fucking funny. Because,
I
like,
love it so much.
listen, I understand that Christian has been learning magic with Lyssa
Poorly.
and with Tasha. Not very well. That's important to
No.
note. But have we not learned from the first little heist mission in which Christian just weaseled his way into the backseat of the
And
car
dude died.
and basically died and just made everyone's life miserable, especially Rose's, because he couldn't keep up and he was not very useful in any of those regards.
Homeboy died and is shadow kiss now to
Yeah.
Lyssa.
So, like,
So,
how about we think
Homeboy's
about
not
this?
good at magic.
Not good magic. And that is played
Other
out
than fire.
other than fire. Very good at fire. Very
Very
good.
good.
Very good at fire. So she's like, all right, let's get Christian and just settle our differences, whatever, and just
Right.
go up to this guardian and do a little compulsion. And he whiffs it so bad.
Like,
So
rolls
mean.
a 1 on persuasion.
literally a nat one, a nat, maybe even a nat 0. Just nothing. I know there's no zeros, but just that version of it.
Yeah, he's like, I need you to let us out the gate.
It's
And
like, hey,
the-
you're
the guard's
gonna
like,
let me out. And he's like, sorry, what was that? Sorry, what did you
Sorry,
want?
what?
Excuse me, did you say something?
to the point where Rose has to, like, fucking take a 2x4 and like,
just barrels this dude in the head, in the back of the
Yeah.
head. And it's funny, too, that she's like, I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences later of this, but I do kind of wish that one of my professors saw that because I was pretty sick. And they would like me more for it, I think.
amazing.
I'd love to see it.
Christian is so bad at this.
He's so bad.
And it's honestly should be more embarrassing for him because for a while there, homeboy didn't have friends
Right.
and theoretically had nothing else to do but get good at magic. So
So
Hello.
what's going on, buddy? What else were you doing?
what were you doing? Watching porn? Like,
Yeah, right.
what were you doing? What were you doing? Anyways, one of my favorite parts of this too, like I love the fact that these two are like, listen, we obviously couldn't bring Lyssa because we both love her,
Right.
even though they both think they love her more.
Yes. It's always a battle.
They finally like hitchhike to this bus station, and Rose is like, fuck dude, you're rich or whatever, do you like have money to get us on this bus? Because I did not think that far.
Yeah. Thought I had this all figured out. I do not have the fare on me. So can you spot us actually?
Are you good?
Are you
actually?
good for it? Good.
Because the thing is like, there's not really... There's... From what they say is, like, they were able to get... There's, like, 3 main lines of travel.
Right.
In this, they're in what it says in the book is Lewiston, Idaho. And so they get tickets from Lewiston, Idaho to Spokane. And this is where our listener comment is very important.
Ooh, hell yeah.
So we have a message here from one of our patrons, Abby. So hello.
Thank you, Abby.
And Abby says, I finished Frostbite last week and felt the need to explain something that the book got wrong. Spokane, Washington is not rural at all. It's one of the bigger cities in the area with, I believe, 3 different big malls. I can confirm this is true.
Yeah.
I have been there. It's the place everyone around my area goes if they want to do any real shopping. Next thing is Lewiston, Idaho is not a place. It's Lewiston, and I live there. I was laughing so hard when they got to that point, and I can't figure out if it's a typo in the book or she just decided to change the name slightly for no good reason.
That is fascinating.
Abby, I agree, because when I saw this, my brain immediately corrected it to Lewiston. I was like...
Yeah.
And so when I was looking at it again, I was like, what the fuck? What is this?
Right.
And so that is important to know. Could you tell us a little bit more about what happens when they do get to Spokane? Because this is literally like one of my favorite parts of the book so far.
It's so fucking good. Because, you know, Christian's like, Rose, hey. Because Rose, like, kind of goes back into Lys's brain for a little bit where they're chastising her, being like, where are they?
Oh,
And she's
yeah.
like, I don't know. Which is really sad.
Don't
Because she really doesn't know, and she thinks they're all just, like, hanging out without her. You know, which is not the case. It's literally a rescue mission. But Christian's like, hey, we're here. We're in this plaza. There's, like, a little cafe, a shopping center. Let's just see where these fools are. You know?
Right.
And they're literally just, like, chilling. Just vibing. And
Just in the food court.
in the food court, literally just chilling at the mall. And it's so fucking funny. And Mason is like, how did you guys find us? Or Eddie. Was it Eddie? Eddie is like, how did you guys find us? And we're like, you guys are not slick. Like, where do you think we think you would be? Like, come on. This is silly. And they just keep fighting with each other. And like, well, did you kill any Strigoi? Did you find any Strigoi? And Eddie's like, no, we didn't. No. And Mia's like, hey, why are you still against this? We could totally kick their asses. And they're like, and Rose's like, literally, what are you talking about? I know you're traumatized because your mom just died by a Strigoi. And that sucks, dude, for sure. And you need to process that.
But you can't kill Strigoi with water, so...
But we have nothing. You have, like, steaks that you've stolen from who knows where, and any real training.
And
especially...
they're not even silver steaks. They're Omaha steaks. So what are you going to do with those?
You got some slabs of meat that's going to do nothing, you guys. Come on, now.
My favorite thing about this, so Christian and Rose, like, as soon as they get into the mall, they, like, immediately go to the food court.
Yeah.
And... all 3 of these motherfuckers are not just in the food court, but they're there and they look like miserable and dejected.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't have a cool big moment that we wanted.
You know that, like, they all had enough money to, like, go in on one Annie Ann's pretzel.
Totally, yeah.
And they're, like, tired, they're thirsty, they're exhausted and hungry. And so when these 2 show up and they're like, we fucking found you. We're gonna tell the vampire cops that you're here. Also, Mason, I need to break up with you. And it's like, damn it. Like,
yeah.
This is the worst fucking...
Like, I can't do this anymore. This has been the worst day.
Yeah, this is the worst day ever. Like, damn, all of this sucks. But it's wild to me that after all this, because they do have, like, a little bit of time to kill.
Yeah.
before the next bus comes, because apparently there's like two. And somehow Rose gets bullied into going to search for the Strigoi again.
Right. And she's like being like kind of stern parent, being like, guys, we need to like not get into trouble here and get ourselves killed. And they're like, it'll be fine. There's nothing down there. We'll just go down these spooky little steps and just have a little spooky time.
So
we're good. And they go
we're
down.
gonna, like, outnumber them.
And she's like, okay, maybe this is pretty boring. Maybe they're right. And then there's just cursed black
Da Vinci
writing.
Code.
Da Vinci's Code is on the walls here. It gets spooky. Da Vinci Code up in here. So many letters.
The Da Vinci Code. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot of letters. And and they're like, in the Kindle version, they're like really pixelated.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. If you couldn't tell what letters are, it would be indecipherable.
Yeah, it looks like in the Kindle version, it looks like you're at the like an eye doctor screening. And Rose is like looking at this, and she's
like, I cracked the code. I got it.
Yeah, the way that you see it it reminds me a lot of the Da Vinci Code, because it's like she starts to like see letters, and then she sees words in her brain.
Yeah, she's like, it's like the math equations coming up in her brain.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, this is the like first initial or first letter of every royal family.
It's like a really easy puzzle, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, like if there's one thing that the Strigoi are tracking, it's the royal family. So like, I feel like that should be an easy thing to gauge. But you know,
I'm really bad at puzzles. Because that's not how my brain works. And I looked at this and I was like, isn't this exactly what the Valiant Guardians were doing? Like, at Janine's room?
Yeah, literally. It's like, come on, y'all. This is, we know this.
Yeah. And so there was a point where Rose, like, steps back from the wall and is like, we need to get out of here. And
you're right, like, get out.
Why? Like,
it's like, you guys, can you keep up with me, please?
Yeah. What I found really weird about this chapter is it ends the exact way that Twilight does.
Yeah, just like the looking back and forth. Like the dismay.
And because they are like walking to the bus stop.
Yeah.
Just like Bella does when she's in Port Angeles. And the fucking 5 of them with their noggins get lost. Just like Bella gets lost in Port Angeles.
Just like that. The parallels are here.
They're there. It's the exact same thing. Except for it's Spokane. It's the other side of the mountains. And this fucking gray van comes up.
Just swerves in. Just like
in Twilight.
These 3 dudes just come out and are like, what the fuck? Like, let's go. And Rose is immediately like fight or flight mode, just like punches these dudes, right? Like as they
she's
move
got a lot
towards
of energy
people.
She needs to get out.
Yeah, she's like, and then like Mace and Eddie are like coming in, getting out, like trying to do some little fight moves and stuff. And then she's like, I mean, these guys are big, but they're not very good at fighting, so this is actually pretty easy. And I'm just doing this basically by myself, which is great for me. And I love that. And it's just like,
except for that they fucking broke the fight rules.
They did do a bad and did all the head stuff.
That we know about West Side Story fight rules is you don't bring a gun to a fight.
You don't bring a gun to a fist fight and maybe a steak fight.
Right.
It's not exactly the way to do it. I don't appreciate it because that seems a little unfair.
Right. It's like you're adult people.
Right.
Like you're adult humans beating up children.
Yes, quite literally.
And you have a gun. So like
seems a little unfair.
Right. And so to take the smallest of them.
Yeah, Mia's just like
whose
cowering.
Mom just died.
She's going through so much right now.
And to put a gun to her, it's like, okay, well.
Yeah. Hasn't she been through enough, y'all?
Right, exactly. And then do the whole, like, take-in situation of, like, get in the van. It's like,
right, it's like, we have to go. Get in here.
All right.
It's like, I just...
settle down, you know?
Come on. We were having fun. we were having fun.
We were tussling. We were right.
It was good. And then you got it weird and brought a gun in here, and I don't appreciate that.
And now you're doing the whole like, listen to me, or she's dead, and it's like, stop being so NPC.
Yeah.
Like, get some new dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Right. Anyways, that's where the chapter ends. So, but we're like 70% of the way.
Yeah, we're making our way downtown.
And we're not walking fast anymore. We're walking kind of slow.
Yeah.
Into this van.
Yeah, right, yeah. Our heads down, hands behind our backs.
Right.
Very sad.
No sudden movements.
No.
But I imagine that we're going to be getting towards the end game here, so that's pretty exciting. But we do have some patrons here.
Hell yeah.
That I'm very excited about. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Kylie Minty. I'm so afraid my fucking voice is gonna crack.
Oh no, yeah, this is the do or die moment right here.
I know.
Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Carrie Goldberg.
Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Rebecca Cullen.
Thank you to Mulch Gray. Mulch.
Ooh. Thank you to Taylor Brown Town Lautner.
Yeah. Thank you to Danae Swan.
Ooh. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Thank you to Cassandra Bomer.
Ooh. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea.
Ooh.
Thank you to Alexandra Ozera.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Aaron Weber.
Ooh. Thank you to Clara Belikov.
Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh. Thank you to Samara Rinaldi.
Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Thank you to my mom, your mom, all of our moms, Kelly Beck.
Ooh. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow. Yeah.
Ooh.
Thank you to Laura Forty.
Ooh. Thank you to Abby Penn.
Thank you to Catherine Hathaway.
Ooh. And last, but certainly not least, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So I found another fan fiction for you.
Thank you. I appreciate the reporting, the journalism.
You're so welcome. It's from the same 10th anniversary project as last week. The Christmas one-shot compilation. But this is a different story.
Yeah.
So this is from the author Princess Laura 99. And it's titled Christmas of Forgiveness.
Hell yeah.
Here is the summary. Hope, love, forgiveness. Isn't Christmas all about it? Follow Rose and Dimitri through this journey where they rediscover themselves. Dimitri is a royal Moroi and the king of the Moroi world. He left Rose 5 years ago when they were students of St. Vladimir's without a word. But now he's back, ready to turn her life upside down. He's a man on a mission with a single target, winning her back. So, this is from the start of the story.
Hell yeah.
Rose opened the door, sensing no danger. Guardian Hathaway, the other guardian, said respectfully. Yes, Guardian Rogers, Rose said, not sure she got his name right until she saw the bulky man smile. Her eyes immediately flew to the blue-colored badge pinned in his collar. He was a royal guard. Her heart clenched. Somehow she knew the purpose of his visit. Blue was the current royal color. Blue was, quote, his color. "How may I help you?" she asked quietly, and was proud her voice didn't quiver like her insides were right then. Her palms grew sweaty, and her heart was beating so fast. She wasn't sure she could hear the guardian speak over the thudding. The man smiled, sensing her unease. "Guardian, you are requested to present yourself before the crown." End scene.
Damn.
It reminds me a lot of the, like, Christmas Prince movies.
Yes, that's definitely a Christmas Prince vibe going on here. I do love that.
Aren't they on, like, the 5th movie or something now?
Who
I feel
knows anymore? I think they have a baby now. I don't know. I'm not keeping up.
I feel like I dropped off after, like, the 2nd movie.
Sure. Understandable.
But maybe one day I'll also get back into the ones with Vanessa Hudgens.
Yes.
I think there's like 4 of her now or something.
Yeah, and there's so many Vanessa Hudgenses, and they're all British and whatever to some extent.
Anyways, folks, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Next week is the last one of the year, which is weird.
Yeah.
But anyways, as we say in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
And get whipped and save your voice.
Yes. Drink some tea.
Drink some tea. Yes.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.